Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Business of Influence podcast with me, Leroy Mark. We're still at the IMC conference 2025. I'm joined in studio by Bridget Harpur. She's the head of marketing for the VW Group. Hello, Bridget.
Hello.
How are you?
Just peachy. How are you?
Just peachy. Really, really good. It's been a long day. You've
Yes.
been up and down. How have you found the conference so far?
No, really amazing. I mean, we were speaking earlier about the caliber of speakers.
Yeah.
And also, I've really enjoyed the breadth of expertise
Yes,
that they've had. I
absolutely.
mean, from a yoga instructor to Captain Mandisa and all the bits and bobs. But I've been in and out
Yeah.
because we've been working on this live project. So I didn't see everything,
Oh, yes.
unfortunately. But yeah, what a great day so far.
Yeah, it really has been a great day. And it's also been interesting because you and I think two other guests are also in the middle of other projects. Like you're here, but you also have to sort of facilitate and overlook some of the other things that you have to do at work. And it's been very interesting to see how, it's just a dynamic world, our field of marketing is. We meet today at the IMC conference under the guise of marketing is business.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it's been seen a bit of a playbook. We just play around here. We get the nice budgets and get drunk in the office.
Also, nothing wrong with that.
And there's also nothing wrong with that.
The big budgets.
And we blow the budgets. They bring it in and we blow it. But do you think that we are seeing a change in the mindsets in the C-suites about how they see marketing as part of the business as opposed to an add-on?
Absolutely. And I mean, it does depend on the industry, on the company, but I think you can see, as been demonstrated today by numerous brands, that when the C-suite is recognizing marketing as fundamentally important to the business, that business is more successful. So it doesn't
absolutely.
just bring better advertising and, nice trophies, it actually brings business. Yeah.
Do you think the automotive field is alive to that? Because it is quite a traditional sector. I mean, you can just think about how, cars have been the cornerstone of aspirations for everyone.
Yes.
And so the marketing hasn't had to do too much to sort of break out of the box. But it seems that now we're getting more and more dynamic in the way we see in campaigns.
Yeah, look, the motor industry from a marketing perspective is quite interesting and at times also quite unreformed because it's led by engineering type of thinking.
Absolutely.
And because we're working with a very, very long timeline. So in marketing, it's a completely different kind of game.
Yeah.
And if you think that there's only 5% of the market at any one given time that's in market for a vehicle,
Yes.
how much brand building you have to do for that other 95% so that when somebody is in market, they think of your brand first.
Absolutely.
And cars, despite what people think about them being a very rational purchase, they are 100% emotive.
Absolutely.
So it's all of this sort of heart stuff, the emotional connection, all the little bits and bobs that you've scraped together over the years, your friends, your family, your first car experience, all of those things sort of clustered together to make up your shopping list. So it's a very different kind of field that we're in, with people buying cars every 5 to 7 years as well.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn.
It really is.
Yeah.
And also just by the sheer nature of the asset of a vehicle, it is also an expensive piece of purchase.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do it every 2 weeks. It's something you do.
We wish.
Well, if you win the lottery,
I mean,
more.
nothing's
But
stopping you.
I'm very interested in that lack of dynamism that sort of the market has, right, around the automotive space, because you quite rightly say, it's not also. I always look at how we do it in influencer marketing, where it's very difficult to get someone to seed a vehicle for you. Other products are easier to influence a market because you're able to hand over a jersey, a handbag, a lipstick, or something else.
Yeah.
A vehicle is a huge asset, and I mean, it affects the bottom line quite significantly.
I think in the influencer space as well, like you're pointing out, it's quite difficult because vehicles are such a part of your personal branding.
Absolutely.
That you're not going to, as you point out, it's not as disposable as like I can wear this lip gloss this week and that next week, and
Yeah.
you can flip-flop around. But when you are, like, because vehicles are so emotional and they're so visible, that if you are in the influencer space and you're flip-flopping every week to one car, another car, next car, people will call you out on that. because it's inauthentic.
I'm
Yeah,
interested in that idea of it being an emotional thing because I've also found that more and more I'm seeing marketers really pushing the narrative of it being a lifestyle item. For a very long time, the ad would come up and say, VW Polo, it has X kilowatts, has, this amount of Newton meters of torque, and you can do this
yeah,
much per 100 kilometers.
kilometers. Yeah.
And now it's about how it fits into your lifestyle. I don't know if it was by design that sort of the automotive world started talking about how it fits into your world as opposed to it as a standalone product being a really good product.
Well, I don't know if that's just limited to automotive or if
Mm.
that's actually the industry now, where, especially for bigger ticket items, and especially when it's such a visible part of it's an extension of yourself. So maybe not just automotive, where brands are now kind of steering away from going, here's what I stand for, buy me,
Yeah,
rather than here's how I can fit into your lifestyle. Now
absolutely.
we're also able to do much more curated content
Mm.
to smaller pockets of target markets rather than this kind of one big blasting TV message on a Sunday night.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
middle of the 8 o'clock movie.
Yes. Or carte blanche.
Yeah, like carte blanche, then boom, it'd be in there. I'm very interested in what you said earlier on about how the slow burn, because it's 5% of the industries of the market is looking for a vehicle at any given time,
Yeah.
but you also want to make sure that when people are thinking of a car, they go, I quite like, I'm a VW baby. I've had two VW Polos, and
Thank
I
you.
bought the first one, and then I bought the second one because I like the darker color. You see, it wasn't about the car. It was just like, now it comes in black, so you can get it in black.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting to see how even years later, when I think of, 2 days ago, we had to rent a vehicle out, and I went, I really like that one. It reminds me of back in my time when I was a student driving my VW.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in how then, as a strategy from a marketing point of view, how do you build that in to make sure that I am top of mind when, I'm buying a vehicle in 5, 7 years, or I have to buy a car for my daughter, or,
Etc. Yeah. Well, that's brand salience, I
Mm.
suppose, is making sure that when we Google a vehicle, it's already embedded in the mind. So
Mm.
Google doesn't prompt you what
Absolutely.
to shop for. It's already embedded,
Mm.
and that's part of brand salience, which is built over time.
Mm.
From, I think it was David Ogilvy that famously said brands are made up by scraps and straws.
Yes,
So it's from the way the receptionist answers the phone to the
absolutely.
trucks that you see on the road, etc. It was some famous,
Mm.
like olden years quote of his. But that is how I see it as well for
Mm.
us, is that it isn't just one singular experience or one advert. It's a whole sort of cluster
Mm.
of things that you cobble together that makes this brand, relevant or not relevant to you in your life.
One of the speakers said something so interesting to me that I think resonates so much with the VW group, especially VW as the brand, is about how you should also be able to regionalize yourself, even though you're a global player,
Yes,
because the Mark One VW Golf is like the
yes.
stuff of legend in South Africa.
Still today, a cool car.
I grew up in
Yeah.
El Rado Park, and the VW Velocity was a dream in navy
Yes.
blue, in that little navy blue, and with
Nice.
the spray painted silver rim. It was the stuff of
Nice.
dreams. And I'm very interested in how the VW group still continues to embed itself in the South African lexicon, especially because there's so many new entrants coming in, right, who might not
Yeah.
understand South Africa as a market as well as VW has, because it has been around literally forever.
74 years
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Yeah. No, well, look, I mean, the honest truth is that there are a lot of new brands in South Africa, and they've come quickly,
Mm.
and they've come at prices that a lot of the legacy brands can't compete with.
Absolutely.
So, it is a struggle. And I think what we are doing and need to continue to do is to remind South Africans about the full value chain, the full
Mm.
value package. It's quality, there's safety considerations. The local auto industry, so not just Volkswagen, but the 7 brands that build vehicles in South Africa, employ 900,000 people in South Africa.
There's a million people with
So
work.
exactly. So to keep our local auto industry alive is really more than just us making sales. It's important
Absolutely.
for the country too. So what we need to do in marketing is carry on reminding people why they've loved this brand for 74 years.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
really a truly and well-loved brand. And I think it's very interesting to see how heritage brands, the legacy brands like the VWs, have been able to still solidify themselves in the conversation years later.
Yeah.
How do you build loyalty, especially when, you know, there are people who are not even people who drive, right? People who are out of the market, who maybe, can't drive,
Commuters.
or maybe people who use public transport for whatever reason, but who still, talk about their nothing beats, GTI, the R line, I mean, I even know
Yeah.
soccer players who've named themselves literally after the car as, one
Yeah.
button GTI. How do you
Yeah.
build loyalty in such a competitive market?
I think that's a great question, and I think, in my view, is that we have unwavered from one thing in 74 years, and that is that Volkswagen, even in the name, is the people's car.
Yes.
And so, as the country has changed, as our customers have changed, as our models have changed, as the competitive environment has changed, the one thing we've unwavered from is that it's all about people.
Yeah.
So you'll notice in our advertising, we don't do the pointy, here's your app connect and
Yeah,
your
yeah,
da
yeah,
da da,
yeah.
whatever, because it's so much more of a feeling and talking about quality in there rather than the product intrinsics.
Yeah.
And so we've just managed to embed ourselves in culture. And I'm not sure if you've seen our recent golf campaign,
Mm,
but there we really recognizing that South Africa owns golf,
yeah.
not us. So we
Yeah.
so we had this docu-series where we said to South Africa, okay, the new golf is here, what are we going to call her? Because you've been naming her since Mark 1.
Yes.
We've got the Bumjav, the 2020, the
Yes.
Vura, etc.
VR6,
And so who are we to come here and
Yeah.
give it a name? And so we called on South Africa to name the new golf, which I think is testament to how the brand has stayed relevant for so many years, because we've put people at the center,
Yeah.
not the brand. Yeah.
And I think there's very few brands in South Africa that transcend the demographic lines of age, of race, of
Yeah.
class, like VW, where we've got people who swear by the Touareg as the ultimate family SUV, and people who
Yeah.
still want a cute and cutesy VW bug, right, with the little
Yes.
eyelashes and a
Yes.
sunflower on the. Everyone
Exactly.
has their experience of a VW. I think, Bridget, in parting, I'm interested to find out, how do we get brands to connect like VW has with the South African market, right? Because it is so evident and clear, because everyone, even if they don't drive a VW, have a favorite VW. People will tell you
Yeah.
how they prefer the R line to the GTI. They'll tell you how they are a GTI 6 as opposed to me who likes a Polo 5, for instance,
Yes.
How do you get that so right? And how do we get brands to understand that connection?
Well, I'm not sure if it was us getting it right,
Yeah.
or whether that South Africans are like wine connoisseurs, they are like car connoisseurs. I mean,
Yes.
we live in an absolutely car-mad
Absolutely.
society.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you're so right that people have got such opinions about
Yeah.
the 5, the
Yeah.
the 5 was better than the
6.
7,
The
and
6
the
is better.
6, etc. Yeah, and I mean, the way we've done it, I suppose, in my tenure at Volkswagen, is to recognize that there's a car for every stage of your life.
Yeah.
And we also say that we're a German brand, but with a South African heart.
Yeah.
So we've got this weird and recognized mix of people know it's a German brand, but they feel such ownership.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's something that South Africans own.
Yeah.
And so that we just continue to nurture, in the influencer space, but also in the broadcast space, of just having real people. We never use models.
Yeah.
We use real people. We try and tell real stories. And I mean, such a South African thing, well, not just South African, but African as well, like storytelling.
Yes.
So to recognize that as a brand and to try and fit that in. And I also think in 2025, with so many messages, I think it was mentioned today that we're interrupting people's timeline all the time.
Yes.
And if you're going to interrupt people's timeline, you have to recognize that you need to deliver entertaining content.
Absolutely.
Not just, don't shove your ad in my face, please, because I'm trying to read something. I keep clicking by mistake. And we need to not be so disruptive and really offer value to people. So entertainment or information or a smile or a little tear or something.
Yeah. I think,
So, yeah.
I think you've done it so well, because Dean sat there where you're sitting right now and said it has to either be beautiful, it has to be useful, or it has to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And if it's one of those three, you sort of have got
Poised
it
for
right.
success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think VW has. I think the fact that we as South Africans feel connected to it means that from a marketing point of view, you've done the work to be able to resonate with people. Because ultimately, as much as we're selling cars, we're selling
Lifestyle.
it's lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's these things carry the dreams of people, right? We get carried to the job interviews, to schools. It's the car you take to university. It's a new car you buy yourself to reward yourself for a job well done after a long year of working. You
Yeah.
know, I got my first VW when I was an article clerk after being in public transport for so long.
Yeah.
And then it took me from being a commuter, you know, in a taxi to being a driver.
And
So,
that's a special
yeah.
moment, which I think in a lot of other markets in the world, more developed markets like in Europe, etc., they cannot relate or understand that fact of what a big moment it is for someone to get a new car and how much a new car can actually transform someone's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It becomes the center point of being able to be mobile, to be able to be entertained, to be able to meet people, to be able
Get to work.
to get to work and be comfortable in
Yeah.
getting to work, to dream in aspirations. I think
Yeah.
you found the sweet spot. And I know you were only writing but a small chapter in your tenure of this very long legacy brand, but I think
Yeah.
we're more the richer for having marketers who are able to understand that it is really more than just selling units. It's all about making
more
sure
than a
that,
car.
yeah, it's more than a car.
It is. I always say it's more than four wheels and
And a steering wheel.
and a metal body.
Yeah.
It's a brand that's had legacy and meaning in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's job employment, you know, very forward thinking, always through employment and what what Volkswagen does for the Eastern Cape.
Yeah.
In terms of all the CSI initiatives, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we are, yeah. So
We're
VW,
trying.
VW belongs to us, to South
Yes, it
Africa.
does. You can have it.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you so much for your time. And thank
Absolutely.
you for looking after a brand that us South Africans love.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, VW, one of the hearts of South Africa. When we come back, we have more interviews with big hard hitters in the world of marketing.
Damn.